time for me they've been separate. They're starting to come together. And I'm really aware that my YouTube audience has played kind of a big role in this happening for me. We'll talk about how big a role in a bit, because it really ties into the story of the prince and Nebula. And so I don't want you guys to feel, oh, Abigail's going off to Hollywood and like leaving us behind, or like she's forgetting about the channel. Like, no, I want you to feel included in this moment and in this success, because you've helped make it possible. It's thanks to you that that this is happening in a big way. So I want you to feel included, and I want to share this moment for you with you. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Like, some of you have been watching me since back in the bookcase days, and I don't forget that. You know, I want you to feel part of it. So yeah. Anyway, why don't we crack on? I suppose good idea to do it in like roughly chronological order, right? I've got some notes in a doc here that I just got to making sure I don't miss anything. So why don't we start by saying, okay, if you haven't seen it, if you have no idea, I was cast in a little show, you might have heard of it. It's called House of the Dragon. It is, I think, by the numbers, the biggest TV show in the world. It's on HBO Max. Well, it's just called Max now. But it's produced by HBO. It's a spin-off of Game of Thrones, which you may have heard of. Prequel to Game of Thrones, in fact. And I was introduced in the finale of season 2 as this character. Her name is Sharako Lohar. And how do I explain Sharako to someone who's never seen House of the Dragon? Okay, so House of the Dragon is about the Civil War, and there were some bad guys in season 1 who were on neither side. They were from like a different country, right? And like one of the sides had to go fight them. In this season 2, one of the two sides in the Civil War has to go to the bad guys from season 1 and be like, hey, we want your help against the other side in the Civil War, right? But in the meantime, the bad guys have a new commander. The first one was killed in season 1, and the new commander is me. So one side in the Civil War has to come to me and say, hey, let's let bygones be bygones. Come help us bash the other guys, right? And so shenanigans ensue. That's it in a nutshell. You've never seen House of the Dragon. Thank you so much to Philosinoir for that super chat. That's really kind of you. And to Lady Frankenstein 83, hey, good to have you here. So yes, this is my character, Sharako Lohar, pirate admiral, leader of a fleet of pirates who join up with one side. And at the end of the show, at the end of this particular episode and season, we see her setting sail to go and maybe unleash mayhem in season 3, you know, to build up to this big civil war that's happening. Thank you so much, Dead Domain, for that super chat. And hey, your first super chat on the stream, amazing. That's it in a nutshell. And now I guess I should probably tell you, like, okay, auditions. How did this come about? So the story of how I got in House of the Dragon, actually, Bethany Nicholas says, I didn't know you were in it until you were in the Honest trailers. Yeah, that was kind of weird. I've been watching them for years, and then I turned up with it. So yeah, the story of how I got in House of the Dragon actually starts about a year before with another show called The Prince. So The Prince is a play that I wrote and that I appeared in London, and that a lot of you came to see. It was funded by a streaming service called Nebula. They were our producers, and so many of you bought Nebula subscriptions and bought tickets to come and see The Prince that even though it was kind of a gamble, you know, a streaming service paying for a play, we were actually making profit on The Prince before rehearsals even ended, which is incredible. And so thank you, Andy Hodges, for that super chat. And so The Prince then went on to do really, really well. And we also won a bunch of awards, which was fantastic. So I had already done this show that I wrote, which was about Shakespeare characters realizing they were stuck in Shakespeare and trying to break out and like crashing through the Shakespeare multiverse. And I'd already done a lot of this like running around with swords and sort of gender, how to say, in a non-sweary way, because we're still at the start of the live stream and I shouldn't swear at the start. Some gender shenanigans was going on in that play. If you haven't seen it, it's on Nebula. In fact, there's a link. You can see it in. There's a link in the doobly-doo right now. If you haven't seen it, you can go see it. So I'd already done this, and then just sort of file that away in your brain pockets, right? So we've done the prince, and then a while ago, my then agent, my now former agent, got in touch and said, "Hey, Abigail, we've been asked to reach out to you. We're not sure what the show is. We're pretty sure it's House of the Dragon, but it's all quite secret at the moment. Would you like to audition for it?" Thank you for that super chat, Fem Fun Time. We'll talk about Philosophy Tube episodes on a separate stream, and we'll do the post-mortem for that another time. So my then agent reaches out to me and says, "Hey, we'd love you to audition for this role. We're not sure what the show is, but it's a really small role, like just 2 lines." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm not too proud to do that. No problem." And so I do the self-tape. Fun fact: Morgana Ignis, who's my co-star in Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend, read the other role, read Tywin Lannister's role, or the role that was took the place of Tywin Lannister in that audition. So that's fun. And the script was a fake script. They that's pretty common in first rounds for big shows, is they give you a fake one. It was the same on Star Wars actually. And then I thought, okay, well, 2 lines, whatever, you know. Thank you so much, Big Goth Booty GF, for that super chat. So, oh, hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Nope. No, it's gone. Never mind. So then, I got an email saying there's going to be a second round. And that's quite unusual for small roles. And my agent said it's going to be a second round with Ryan Condal and Sarah Hess, who are the executive producers of House of the Dragon, and Geeta Jackson, the director, and one of the lead actors and the head of casting. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I bet this isn't a small role. This is one of those times where they tell you it's a small role, and then you get in the room and you find out what it actually is, which is quite common, actually, in acting. You sometimes don't know what you're going up for until you get quite far along in the process. Thank you, Slimy Snail Slug, for that your first ever super chat. Yay! So I go along to the audition, and I was listening into the door to hear the person before me and try and gauge the room, but couldn't really determine much. And then I went in and I met Ryan and Sarah and Geeta and Jefferson and everybody and the head of casting. And Ryan said, "It's Shariko Aloha, the commander of the Triarchy." And I was like, "Oh wow, okay, cool." At this point, I had seen 3 episodes of House of the Dragon. I watched the first 3 episodes of season 1 before my audition, and then I cut myself off because I didn't want to give them something they'd already seen before. I didn't want to I knew everyone else was going to go in and be like, "Oh, Game of Thrones, oh, Game of Thrones, oh, it's very serious, my lord, Game of Thrones." And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to give them something that feels organic and real and fresh. That's not me trying to second guess what they want, but it's just me going, "Hey, I'm a professional actor, here's my take on the character." And so I went in and Ryan was like, "Yeah, what we want to do with this character is bring something entirely new to the world of House of the Dragon. We want to bring something fresh and new and original, an energy that we haven't seen before." And I was like, "Oh, great, perfect, fantastic, yeah, cool, because that's great, because that's exactly what I prepared." So I did the scenes again with Jefferson, and we improvised a little bit. Jefferson plays this character, Tywin Lannister, who's one of the leads, if you haven't seen it. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong window. This guy here in the front with the sort of scraggly beard. And we did this. We did a little bit of improv together, and it seemed to go well enough. I was like, I don't know, hard to tell with auditions often, and so I walked out of there and I said, well, I'm probably never gonna see any of them again, because I up until that point I'd had a few auditions for big projects and I'd gotten down to the final few and then not gotten it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna go and treat myself to some nice Chinese food, my favorite Chinese place, to have lunch in London. And so I was like, I'm never going to hear about it again. And I got myself a nice iced cherry latte, which was, I think, Cafe Nero was doing at the time. And I remember it because I was like, oh, it's really nice. And then a few weeks later, I got another email, and they said, hey, we want you to do it again, round 3. This time we're going to film it, and because we want to give it to you.